We recently emerged from the wilderness after spending 3 nights in the backcountry of Yosemite. The granite rocks were an incredible sight to see. The water was crystal clear at a temperature ideal for tired feet, and the wildlife wandered around us, giving us space to truly enjoy nature. It was 4 days that gently nudged me out of my comfort zone just enough to return to civilization, feeling more confident in my abilities to do hard things. It was challenging and enjoyable at the same time, which reminded me of the habit creation process. In today's episode, I'm sharing 3 friendly reminders from the trail about habit creation. The first one is to set up realistic expectations. This is a super important one and one that I talk about often. When we embarked on our Yosemite journey, I was under the impression it was going to be a moderately easy hike. And boy, was I wrong. The first day was a lot of downhill, which was hard on my knees. However, this was actually to be expected because Scott had mentioned this before. He did this hike 5 years ago. So he kind of gave us a little bit of a rundown on what to expect. The most difficult part for me was carrying a 25 to 30 pound pack on my back, which I was not used to. While I trained doing a few hikes with my pack on prior, it was definitely not enough. I definitely could have done more training hikes with my pack fully loaded on my back. So day 2 had pretty steep climbs that were really challenging and definitely unexpected. Now, one thing I did not do before this hike is look at the elevation gain for each section of the trail. I went on what Scott said because he had done the hike 5 years ago, which was a total mistake on my end. That was on me because everyone has different abilities, which means the same hike for one person might be hard for someone and then even harder for someone else. I was carrying just about the same weight on my back, give or take about 3 to 5 pounds, depending on how much water I was carrying at the time, as Scott. However, I am 50 pounds lighter than him. So this actually was something I did not think about until I was climbing up the switchbacks on day 2. It's the same with habit creation. A consistent exercise routine is easy for some of my clients and difficult for others. Now, this isn't necessarily because one client is more committed than the other. There are so many variables that are involved in creating consistency. A common one, the most common variable that I've seen over the years as being a coach is schedules. We all have responsibilities outside of simply keeping ourselves alive on a daily basis, right? We have jobs, pets, kids, and parents to take care of, in addition to paying bills, feeding ourselves, sleeping, and hopefully relaxing. And at times it feels like a never-ending juggling act. So if you have a history of struggling to stay consistent with an exercise routine, give yourself grace and brainstorm ideas on how you can overcome the challenges you have control over. And that's key, the challenges you have control over. From there, you can set up realistic expectations to enable you to celebrate wins along the way. The next thing is to remind yourself why you're doing this. Now, we have a running joke in our friends circle where we actually question why we're friends with each other. And this is because when we spend time together, we don't go to a coffee shop or a restaurant and hang out. Sometimes we do, okay? But most of the time, we go on adventures that include 30-plus-mile bike rides, climbing sand dunes, summiting mountains, and 4-day treks through the Yosemite backcountry. And believe it or not, this is actually my idea of fun. Now, with that being said, it doesn't mean it's always easy for any of us at the time. So during the challenging times, I do question my choices and dream about what it would be like to just lay on the beach for a week, reading a great fiction book and just sipping mimosas. The reality is, that's actually not me. I would actually get really antsy laying around for a week and drive myself and my husband crazy. I prefer to challenge myself while getting out in nature. When you're super clear on why you want to eat more home-cooked whole food meals, get to bed at a reasonable time, or move your body frequently, the obstacles somehow become easier to overcome. Just about everything you do in your life that's worth doing and will bring you abundance will have challenges along the way. When you can tap into your emotional why, it's so much easier for you to power through the challenges and get creative with finding solutions on how to overcome them. I see this all the time with my clients who are super clear on their why. Our coaching sessions are centered around what's holding them back from carving out time to make a nutritious meal at home. Oftentimes, the solution is making sure to get to the grocery store on the weekend to stock up on meat and veggies for the week. Other times, it's a bit more complicated and involves rearranging schedules and delegating other household tasks to partners. The key is to be so committed to creating habits that work for you that you automatically go into solution mode. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about today is leaning on your support system. I'm incredibly grateful that I had the opportunity to hike through the beauty that is Yosemite with my hubby and two of our favorite people. With every step I took up the granite cases on the switchbacks, I felt a wave of, I got this. Just being with three people who are part of my strong support system and also having my trekking pole in hand was super helpful. When I said out loud, I can't go any further, and felt the need to just burst into tears, someone would remind me that I could, in fact, keep moving forward. Looking back, this made a huge difference. I felt like I was infused with energy to get to the top of the switchbacks. When a client reaches out to let me know they're temporarily unable to stick to a fitness routine we previously discussed and asks for suggestions on what to do instead, it's a reason to celebrate because I know this person is committed to their health and fitness intentions. One of my favorite parts of being a coach is helping my clients brainstorm ideas on how they could find alternative ways to stick to a fitness routine when life happens, because it does. And there's so many ways that you could stick to a fitness routine that aren't necessarily obvious. So this is why it's super important to reach out for support. If you're feeling discouraged by your progress and feel like giving up, like I did on the trail, leaning on your support system can help you shift your mindset to, I got this, I'm good. This is why building a strong support system of people who you know will help you see your value and ability during the times when you can't see it will set you apart from the people who just throw in the towel way too early. I talk more about what to do when you feel like giving up in a different podcast episode, and that link will be down below in the show notes. The end of the trail. Stepping back into civilization after 4 days on the trail, I felt a sense of accomplishment. It felt really great to get back to indoor plumbing, hot showers, and food that wasn't freeze-dried. Now, don't get me wrong, we buy the best, most high-quality freeze-dried food on the market, which helps a lot when you're on the trail and you're basically just eating food that is rehydrated. And I actually enjoyed unplugging from civilization as it gave me a deeper sense of appreciation for the conveniences of modern life. But I was looking forward to washing the sweat off my body with soap and washing my hair. Oh my gosh, that was one thing I thought about a lot on day 3. Like, oh my gosh, I get to wash my hair tomorrow night. So I was excited to wash the sweat off my body with soap and not just river water, but I will say the river water, it was super clear and probably really clean. And it really did feel amazing on my skin at the end of a long day of hiking. So the moment you realize you have systems in place to cook nutrient-dense meals on demand and get out of bed effortlessly to get your workout on, I encourage you to look back at the work that you put in to get to this point. It most likely wasn't always easy, and you probably overcame so many obstacles, but you did it. You did it. You made it. And while the journey isn't over and your maintenance section of the Healthy Habit Trail has just begun, hopefully you're feeling more confident in your ability to make even more progress. All right, so what's one healthy habit that you have worked to stay consistent with and to implement to where now it just feels pretty much effortless? You're on autopilot. How are you going to celebrate being in this season of this stage of the habit creation right now? Comment below, shoot me an email, melissa@wellnessabundancecoaching.com. Love hearing from you. And if you haven't done so already, click subscribe on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify, wherever you're listening to this. And also, if you're not on our email list, oh my gosh, go to melissaking.net right now and scroll down a little bit and sign up for our weekly newsletter that goes out every Friday. Okay? Thanks so much.